You're not American, first and foremost. You're not.
Remember what I said? The agitation from you is not going to be lower.
What I'm saying,
you came to lower the temperature and then make racist remarks. You know that's a racist remark.
It's not racist.
You tell an American citizen.
But okay, perfect. You just proved your own point. You just said that was a racist position. Earlier, you argued this contention that America has no race. It's a bunch of immigrants that culminate together.
America has no race.
You inferred it. You absolutely did. Okay. So now you're saying it's racist for me to take an American nationalist approach. What
is an American national approach? Is that a white approach?
I think it's a white nativist approach. Of course,
so only Americans are white people.
Why did your parents immigrate from India?
Only white people.
Why did your parents immigrate from India to the UK?
Because the UK colonized and conquered India.
Okay, why did you immigrate to America?
Because many reasons.
Okay, all opportunity. There's opportunity.
That's not true. You don't know.
The accent, your accent is an afflict of white Anglo-Saxon.
You know there are 50 million Americans in this country.
I understand, but
none of them Americans in your view.
What I'm trying to get you to do to reach a common ground here.
We're not going to reach a common ground. Hi, how are you?
Hello, nice to meet you, Daniela. So in regards to your claim, I just want to start by asking this. Do you care more about helping Americans or immigrants in this claim?
Immigrants are Americans. I'm an immigrant and an American.
Well, immigrants are not Americans. Americans are the people that were born here.
That's not true. What's the basis of your claim for that?
Are you talking about people that get naturalized in the process of becoming American?
The 14th Amendment. Have you read it?
Okay, yes, I have.
Citizenship clause. It says any persons born or naturalized in the United States are citizens of the United States.
I'm aware of that.
There's about 40 to 50 million naturalized Americans in this country.
Yes, but
you didn't seem aware of it because you said Americans versus immigrants.
So, but are you understanding that the process of getting all these immigrants that come in here we've been also the millions of immigrants, it's up to the millions, it's the last 20 years now, and it has dramatically affected Americans here in the country, which
positively, I would argue.
People like me and everyone around here, we cannot find homes or even get jobs within our own fields that we go to college for, that we get into debt for. And because more blue collar work, especially in construction, agriculture and so forth, and the hospitality industry, we cannot get jobs in those fields. So it requires
Are you looking for a job in construction?
I am not. No, I went to college. Okay. Many people here are in college or went to college, but we can't even find jobs in our fields. Also because of the H-1B visa program as well. But in regards to just your claim about immigrants specifically, we cannot even get jobs to pay for housing.
Unemployment is at a record low right now, even under Donald Trump. And I'm not a Donald Trump fan, but I would say unemployment under both Biden and Trump has been at record low levels.
Okay. Is this in regards for American citizens?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Well, I'm unaware of that statistic, but from what I see, from what I can
I'm an immigrant and an American, and I employ many American citizens, both naturalized and the ones born here. I employ Americans.
My parents came
as defined by you.
My parents came as immigrants to become naturalized, so I'm not necessarily opposed to immigrants.
So you're the child of immigrants.
Correct. I'm a child of immigrants. I was born
But you don't accept that immigrants are Americans.
Not at this moment.
So your parents are not Americans.
Not at this moment.
So hold on, your parents are not Americans.
They're citizens. They became naturalized.
You just said you can't be citizens by being naturalized.
No, I was born here, and I'm not opposed to naturalization. I never said that I'm against naturalization.
Are you against naturalization?
No, I never said I was against naturalization.
You began. Everyone was here. They can play it back on YouTube. You said Americans or immigrants. Are your parents Americans or immigrants?
No, my parents are United States citizens.
But they're immigrants, you said.
No, they came here as immigrants. However, but I want to make the claim that we cannot
I came here as an immigrant. I'm an immigrant.
But at this point, when they came, the United States
happy with the way this is going for you.
The United States economy was not at.
It's better now. The American economy is better than it's been for many years. And I can say that as someone who doesn't like Donald Trump.
We're giving millions and billions of dollars to people of minorities as well as
the reason the economy is doing badly now is because Donald Trump's tariff policy. Nothing to do with migrants. In fact, the congressional.
We can't even start businesses.
I'm an immigrant. I started a business.
No, I understand because the SBA is giving people billions of loans. They're giving them billions.
I didn't take any loans.
I'm not saying you did, but I'm saying that statistically speaking, they're giving billions of loans.
So should we do statistics? According to statistics, immigrants are 80% more likely to be entrepreneurs than native-born Americans. They're more likely to start businesses and hire Americans.
No, I'm aware of that.
Immigrants are more likely to pay in taxes than take out in benefits. They're more likely to add to innovation and jobs and wages. This is what the statistics show. The Congressional Budget Office. Let me just finish my point and let you come back in. The Congressional Budget Office, which is bipartisan, Republicans and Democrats both use it. They have said that the immigration surge that you mentioned will lead to an extra $9 trillion of GDP over the next 10 years. That amounts to $65,000 per American household. That's $65,000 for each and every one of you holding up a red flag.
Family, Mehdi Hasan asked a few Americans, white folks to be specific, whether immigrants are of importance to the United States of America. And family, we had thought-provoking answers, and people were wondering, why is it that these young white Americans do not want to see immigrants in the United States of America? Why do they not want to see black folks? Why do they not want to see minorities in the United States of America. And family, I came to realize one thing as I heard this argument. Many of these white young Americans are being taught from childhood to hate a certain group of people. Family, they are trying to tell Mehdi that any immigrant is not of importance to the United States of America. Mehdi tries to explain to them that some immigrants are actually citizens of the United States of America through naturalization. And to them, many of them do not want to agree with the same. And some of them have actually agreed that their parents themselves were immigrants in the United States of America. But when it comes to a certain group of people, they are suddenly uncomfortable. They are starting to say that these immigrants are taking their jobs, that immigrants are doing this and that. And family, the guy is trying to explain to them that these immigrants they do not want in America are the people who are actually making America to become better. Family, I'd want you to watch this video all the way to the end as you hear arguments from these I'd say white young Americans who are claiming that they should go back to their country. And family, before you do that, there is one question that they've been asked in the video. Are they Americans themselves? Do they feel like they are the originals of the America? Are they natives of the United States of America? Because family, many of them were actually settlers from Europe. The colonizers actually settled in America. And family, anytime they are told that, they feel so bad. They are actual immigrants themselves too, so they should not feel like they have a right to the United States of America. They should not open up their mouth saying that a certain group of people should not be in the United States of America, because family, if today they were to decide to look for the originals of the United States of America, and Americans are told that only if you're a native you should remain, then the whole America would remain empty. A few Americans would be the originals, the natives, and this is some of the conversation that many people are afraid of. So family, I'd want you to watch the video. Once it's done, we'll be back and we'll be doing a critical analysis about the same. In a special way, I'd also want to take this opportunity to thank my subscribers who are supporting this channel by buying me a coffee. I do not take your support for granted. The link for buying a coffee is on the description box down below. Let us watch the video, then we will be right back.
Okay, I understand.
All right,
that, but
pause. You've been voted out by the majority. Please return to your seat.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you. Thank you.
Hey, how's it going? I'm Mehdi.
What's going on, man? Nice to meet you. All right, so first, before I start, I need to know what you mean by good. I can talk about the economy, I can talk about culture, I can talk about all those things. I need to know what you mean.
All of them.
All of them.
I'm saying immigrants are good for the economy. They're good for culture.
Lower wages are
they're
good for the
for
economy?
society. Where's the lower wages?
What do you mean, where's the lower wages?
Where's the lower wages?
Yeah, so you can
What's
look
the
at
basis for saying there are lower wages?
Sure. So you can look at like the STEM industry. It's been in like a complete and total recession. There's been tons of studies like from the Economic Policy Institute that shows that like companies like Tesla, companies from like Silicon Valley, they engaged in mass firing of workers, around 35,000, but then they hired around 12,000 H-1B visas. And it's kind of just standard economic thinking.
It's not standard economic thinking. The vast majority of economists and economic studies suggest that there is a negligible, if no impact on wages over time from immigrants. In fact, your colleague mentioned earlier, construction, there is actually evidence in construction, yes. But in some industries, in some areas, there is an impact. But overall, no. In fact, a study from the National Bureau of Economic Research found that migrants since 1965 have raised wages and raised innovation.
Who's that by?
National Bureau for Economic Research.
No, hold on. That's where you publish studies. I'm asking
yes, I didn't memorize the names of the authors.
Yeah, I know you did, right?
Can you give me the authors you've got?
Yeah, hold on. The study you're talking about is from Giovanni Perry, and what he did is he didn't account for aggregation issues, nor did he...
The vast majority of studies...
Let me speak.
Please.
Yeah, thank you, right? So listen, he didn't account for aggregation issues, right? And when you look at like the spatial approach, which is what all these economists use, you're not accounting for the fact that when immigrants come into an area, natives leave. If you look at an occupational approach where you look at the specific firms that immigration's going into, like Kim, ETAL 2013 did, you find a net negative impact when there's a 10% increase of immigration. You find around a 0.5% decline in wages when it comes to the specific occupations they're going to.
So
all your studies are flawed.
So 0.5%, weigh that up against what I just mentioned from the Congressional Budget Office, which is a massive boost in GDP per head, which you're not counting for, massive increase in tax revenue, immigrants actually funding the deficits and debts by paying way more in taxes proportionately, including undocumented immigrants. And what's interesting about wages is, I'm in a room full of, I don't know what to call you anymore, conservatives, Republicans, fascists, I don't know. One of you has proudly said
You can
that.
call us correct.
One of
That's
us
what you can
proudly.
call
Oh
us.
yeah, correct. I'm in a room full of correct people, but do any of you actually care about wages? Because for
Yeah, I
example,
actually do,
For example,
right?
do you support raising the minimum wage?
Absolutely, and you can't
Great.
do that when you're bringing all these
Great.
people
So
coming into
that's
your
not
country.
the reason the
Yes,
Republican
it
Party
is.
blocks the minimum wage. You think Republican politicians don't vote for an increase in minimum wage because they're worried about immigration?
Did I
We have
say I
not
voted
had an
Republican?
increase.
Did I say
We've
I voted
not-
Republican?
Well, I'm in a show that was called 25 far-right Republicans.
That
so
doesn't mean I'm going to support every single Republican
Good.
candidate.
So you
right?
and I, good. So you and I,
Yeah,
you and I,
don't
let's
support-
agree.
I don't
We
support-
both support raising the minimum wage. Yes,
100%.
$7.25 since 2009. It's lost 30% of its value.
100%.
If you care about wages, we should be raising the minimum wage in this country, not scapegoating migrants who aren't the cause of
Can I
low wages in the
respond?
country. You know who's causing low wages? Billionaires, millionaires,
Yeah, and the-
people who won't pay fair wages to their wages, regardless of whether you are an immigrant or a
I
native
get the
born
monologue, right? Now let me respond.
You had
right?
one. You had one
No,
with
yeah,
your
but-
one study that had a 0.5% impact. Go.
Yeah, and your study like sucked that you didn't even know who wrote it, right? So like, let's get back to the point,
because,
right?
because I don't need
And
to
there
know
it
one
goes
study.
again. Yeah, let's
the
hear it.
majority of studies say that wages are not impacted
The
by
majority of your
migration over
studies
time.
are flawed. That's what I'm
They're not
telling
my
you.
studies.
Right.
Neither of us are economists. It's the economist studies.
Don't assume who I am.
Are you an economist?
I could be.
But
right?
are you?
I could be.
Are you?
I'm not going to tell you.
Are you?
I'm going
you?
to major in economics, right?
Are you an economist?
No, not right now.
Okay, so when I said neither is economist, I was correct.
Just don't assume.
To use your
things.
favorite word.
See here, dude. This is nothing of substance. You look at the red flags; they're coming up. Let me get
That's
to the point.
great, but
so
you're
when
not
you
an
talk about
economist.
when you talk about the CBO, one thing you're not accounting for here is that they're assuming an equilibrium, right? Do you know what that means? You shouldn't make these type of assumptions. You said earlier that unemployment.
Do I
was
know
like
what it means? I thought we're not doing assumptions.
Okay, hold on. You mentioned we were like at like 4.2% unemployment. Yeah, that's counting people who have part-time jobs. That's counting
That's how
poverty
it's always
wages.
been counted.
Yeah, and
I'm against poverty wages.
you
Can we
won't let
agree
me
again?
Yes. If you go to like the Lookwood Institute, they calculate it a way where it's like functional unemployment. Okay. If you account for things like just people who make around $25,000 a year, people who have fallen out of the labor market, people who only work part-time, if you count all of those people together and then add on the unemployment, that's around 25% of the population. So when you go, we don't have jobs, we don't have people to do this, and that, and the other. No, yes, we do. Okay. We don't have a labor shortage. We have a good job shortage. And when you keep bringing these people in, and they're taking those jobs.
The good job shortage is the fault of big firms, employers. I'm an employer. I can say
who
that.
hires the immigrants?
Who hires the immigrant?
Yeah.
Employers.
Exactly. So
But
when
that's not
you
the
bring up
cause.
these big firms,
Okay, so
that's the
let me
way
ask
that
you.
keep
Let me
wages
ask you
down.
a
You
question.
understand that, right?
So let me ask you a question. If you got rid of all immigrants coming in tomorrow, moratorium, you hate everything we stand for. It's funny that you said you're a Catholic nationalist. How did most Catholics get to America? Irish Catholics, Italian Catholics, immigration. Much of the people coming across the southern border are Catholics.
Yeah, I know. I don't.
So it's
that's
really
not-
funny that you say you're a Catholic
there-
nationalist, but Catholics came to America via immigration.
Yeah. So there's
So immigration is good for America. You and I can agree. Otherwise, people of your faith wouldn't be here.
no. Well, we were here on this side of the world in this continent from conquest. We came over here and
But the big surges of numbers,
Okay.
as you well know, because you're a smart guy,
Yeah.
Italian, Irish immigration waves, Catholic immigration waves.
Okay, yeah, and I'm not
Are
even
you
claiming.
against those?
I'm not even
Were
claiming.
you against those if you were
well,
alive
I'm
then?
not even claiming that
'Cause
immigration
a lot of people
is
were
bad.
against those.
I'm not claiming immigration is bad in all cases at all times.
What is your claim?
My claim is that immigration, especially now, and especially for foreign people that have nothing in common with us,
It's funny that you
is-
say it's
is a
especially
negative
now.
thing.
I forgot
Yeah.
your name. My apologies.
Brian.
Brian.
Yeah, how many
in
people-
every era there has been a Brian who says, "I'm not against immigration, just immigration now."
Okay.
This is what people said about Italians. It's what people said
That's
about Irish
unfortunate,
folks.
sorry.
Said about Russians, Poles, and now we're saying about
why
people
should
coming
I care
across the
about
southern
that?
border. Because you're not being you're
Why
being a
are-
little disingenuous. Saying
Okay.
I'm only against immigrants now. This is a trope.
that disingenuous?
This is because it's a trope that's been used by nativists throughout American history, and every wave of immigrants has come in and faced the same hate and animus and bigotry and lazy truth. And every wave of immigration is ultimately
Well, I think-
assimilated, integrated,
Here,
benefited the
let me
country. In
make
fact,
a-
assimilation right now, according to Jacob Victor from the University of Washington,
Okay.
assimilation rates based on language and citizenship and naturalization are higher now than 100 years ago.
Okay, let me make a statement first. I think that you in your own
ignored my statement, but okay.
you and your own person are a complete perfect example of why immigration is negative and why we shouldn't allow people
Wow.
who
Why?
don't have anything in
Why?
common with us. You're pro-abortion, you're pro-euthanasia, you're pro.
I'm
you're
pro-euthanasia. I thought
Yeah, you went. I've seen your stuff. You've defended euthanasia.
Pro-euthanasia?
Yeah, on Piers Morgan.
No, I've never discussed euthanasia with Piers Morgan in my life.
Okay, so my point is that you don't agree.
Actually,
with
I'm the guy
founders
here.
of this country.
If anyone watching at home, I'm the only guy here who actually supports American values, democracy, free speech, the Constitution. I've
Yeah.
got folks here telling me
Why-
they don't believe in democracy, that they're nationalists.
Wait, why should we care about that? By the way,
Isn't that what America stands for? What does America stand for?
why-
so
why-
you hate what America stands for, not
No,
me.
I'm not even
And in
saying-
fact, all the studies show that immigrants actually are more patriotic
the only reason,
than
the only
native-born Americans.
reason why, yeah, that's the Mexicans in LA right now burning it down, waving Mexican flags.
LA's being burned down?
Please don't send us back to the country that we're waving the flag of.
I've been in LA for a few days. I didn't see anything burned down.
Yeah, I know the riots have ended. That's because Trump sent.
But if it was burned down, where's it all burned down? I haven't seen it. I've traveled around all of LA. You said LA was burned down. LA is 500 square miles. It's not a figure of speech. It's another false claim of yours.
No, they're burning. I support euthanasia. LA's burned to the ground.
Bro, just immigrants hate what we stand for.
Okay, so
I'm super relaxed.
So you're pro-abortion.
But you're just saying one false thing after another.
So you're pro-abortion,
and I'm standing by my position. Immigrants are good for
You're pro-abortion. You're an immigrant.
I'm pro Roe v. Wade. Personally, I'm not pro-abortion. If you knew anything about me, you know.
Roe v. Wade is.
All right, pause. You've been voted out.
I was going to say nice to meet you, Brian, but I guess not. You made it.
Great to see you. My name is Cyrus.
Nice to meet you, Cyrus.
I am also son of 2 immigrants, came in legally. I'm also Persian descent.
Fantastic.
Born in LA.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Tehrangelis.
Yes. Well, I am mainly upset, not at the immigrants, legal or not. I'm mainly upset at Wall Street. I'm mainly upset at the elites, the special interests.
I'm with you.
They are the main reason why we've been having this issue since 1965. And most want to do well. There are a few bad apples, we can agree.
Okay.
But we want to go after the elites. They are the main cause of the problem.
Love it.
And just like healthcare, trade, everything.
Did you know, Cyrus, that the top 1% dodge $163 billion in taxes every year, while undocumented people pay $100 billion in tax? So I know where my anger is against.
There are issues with our tax system on the rich, but in a state like California, some taxes are too high. I used to live here, now I live in Las Vegas.
Different debate.
Okay.
I'm saying immigration is good for America.
Depends on the
people
tax.
like you and me overall are good for America, is what I'm saying.
Okay, but depends on how it's done.
Yes.
It depends on how it's done.
And how it's been done for the U.S.
I'm not blaming the housing crisis on immigrants, not on wages, but in a state like California that doesn't build enough homes and they're bringing immigrants in, you have to increase supply of housing.
I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
But this is where our anger is at the political class.
I agree.
The Democrat Party used to have a different stance on immigration 15 years ago. Bernie Sanders, Hillary Clinton.
I'm not a fan of that. I'm not here to defend different Democrats. What I will say is
that's our anger.
What I will say is that everyone here actually does think immigration is good for America. Everyone here uses an iPhone designed by an immigrant, is on Gmail designed by an immigrant. The great irony is, of course, that Donald Trump is the son of an immigrant, the grandson of an immigrant, and married to an immigrant. In fact, 2 of his 3 wives were immigrants, proving yet again that immigrants will do the jobs that even Americans are not willing to do.
It's really important for us to remember our history. Unless you're one of the first Americans, a Native American, you came from someplace else. Somebody brought you. The Irish, who left behind a land of famine. The Germans, who fled persecution. The Scandinavians, who arrived eager to pioneer out west. The Polish, the Russians, the Italians, the Chinese, the Japanese, the West Indians, the huddled masses who came through Ellis Island on one coast and Angel Island on the other. All those folks, before they were us, they were them.
Family, you'd hear many white Americans say that immigrants should leave America. But sometimes I'd like to ask a different question or just point out a different opinion. How do you mean these people should leave? What have they done wrong? What have the immigrants brought or taken to America? Family, you notice that they actually bring, many good things than bad. Family, when you hear them say that immigrants should leave America, this is just but a broad topic that many a times not many people are ready to talk about. Rarely do you find, the Native American speaking whatever these young white Americans are talking about in this video. Many natives are usually quiet. They are never loud. Family, you notice that this group of white folks are taught growing up that they should not accept certain groups of people into the United States of America. Whites forget that they are actually they are descendants of the settlers, of colonization from Europe. Many of them are not originals from the United States of America. They actually came from Europe. We know most of the natives are Red Indians. So when they say that they, are the citizens, that they own America, it feels like it's wrong. It feels like it's a false statement because they can never own the United States of America. They do not have ownership to the country. So it's very, very weird and backward behavior. Anytime we see them saying that a certain group of people, a certain people who come outside of America should not stay in our country. They do not deserve to stay in our country. You look at such arguments and wonder, what do they mean? The other question that a lot of people say, or another argument that they pose, is that these immigrants are taking their jobs. Family, I want you to take your time. I want you to look at the United States of America, look at the job market, look at the kind of works the immigrants do in the United States of America. We are talking about farming, we are talking agriculture in general. Family, we are talking about construction works and hospitality. You notice that many a times Americans do not want to do those kinds of jobs. So when I have a lady in the video, the white lady in the video, saying that these immigrants are taking their jobs, the first thing that came into my head is, what kind of jobs are we talking about? Will they be able to do the very same, jobs that immigrants actually are ready to do in the United States of America? They can't. Family, you notice that immediately Donald Trump took office, he ordered for the mass deportations. And family, after the mass deportations were going on, and it just happened that a lot of immigrants actually left the United States of America. We started seeing different sectors of the economy struggling. We started seeing white farmers crying around saying they do not have laborers. They thought black people would go and help them. Black folks refused. These people, are people who are complaining about things they actually do not understand about. If they are saying that their jobs are being taken, then why are the white farmers crying today that they do not have laborers, that they do not have people to till their land, people to help them with harvesting? Family, you notice that a lot of people are just arguing without a basis. They do not understand certain things. Family, even white Americans today, the white people of America, are not natives to America, so they cannot claim that they own, the United States of America. That would be a broad, false statement. The lady said that she wasn't having any problem with immigration in the past. In fact, her parents were immigrants before they became naturalized citizens and gave birth to her. She says that immigration today is different, that their parents came to America and the economy wasn't doing well. Currently, the economy is better than how their parents actually found the United States of America. And her argument is that, she does not want immigration today because people are taking up their jobs. Family, you wonder, does she even make sense from her statement? Why was immigration okay then today it's a problem? After her parents were able to give birth to her in the United States of America, then the situation turns different. Family, if you go down and check the number of Americans today who are actually descendants of immigrants, I'd say like all Americans, not even the white folks who claim that the country is theirs. Family, almost all Americans are descendants of immigrants. Look at Donald Trump, the president of the United States of America today. Donald Trump is the son of an immigrant. He's the grandson of an immigrant. Donald Trump has in fact married an immigrant. So when we are talking about immigration and talking about who deserve to own America, who deserve to beat their chest saying that this is their country, almost 90% of America today is not like authentic, the real Native Americans. There is a mix-up in between. So when somebody says that immigrants are not citizens, that is where again they lose track. Because family, many immigrants have actually become naturalized citizens, and many people who are actually speaking, even in the video, are actually descendants of the very same immigrants who became naturalized. You can either become a citizen through birth or through naturalization after living in a certain country as an immigrant. Some people forget about that and they start arguing, feeling that a certain group of people do not deserve to be in their country. That is where people go wrong. Family, when you look at it from a bigger picture, you will notice that immigrants are actually good for America. The 14th Amendment allows for naturalized citizenship. So when somebody says that you came, your roots are from another country, you came to this country and you're now taking over, that's not a problem. Once somebody gets naturalized citizenship through, of course, the 14th Amendment, that shouldn't be a problem. That shouldn't be something that people are talking about. They are complaining that they cannot find jobs. They are complaining that they cannot find homes. We cannot get jobs in constructions. These are some of the arguments they are giving in agriculture and in hospitality. But family, they are asked the question and reminded, do you mean that you all want to work in agriculture sector? Do you all want to work in construction? Have you knocked doors and not gotten an opportunity? They haven't. They cannot work those works. They are afraid. They do not want works that would want them to be physical. But many immigrants are usually ready. The other question that was posed by Mehdi Hasan is, has the economy done better with immigrants? Or does the economy, do good while immigrants, are working in the country? Many of them are saying that the wages are going low and low because of these immigrants, and they are complaining about it. People are not ready to earn the same amount of money that these immigrants in questions are earning. Family, a lot of people are actually deflecting from the conversation. Whatever immigrants do to the economy of the United States of America is amazing than, whatever actual citizens would actually do for the state and for the country. And family, this is a conversation that I have realized that many white Americans are actually brainwashed. Their parents, the system of the country has made them think that a certain group of people should not live and work in their country. They feel like they own the country. But family, when you look at history, we will notice that many people started becoming Americans because they were children or descendants of immigrants. If you want to argue about America, if you want to say that America belongs to you and you do not want anyone in the country, then you must be a native of the country. You must be a person who's original to the country. You cannot have conversation and speak about others in a certain way thinking that you deserve the country. That is something that I have learned from Mehdi Hasan, and it actually makes a lot of sense. Family, let me know in the comment box down below what you think about the video, and I'd really appreciate. Kindly share the video with your friends and family, and I'll be very grateful. Comment down below. Let me know what you think about this video. If you find it, if you found it an educative video, kindly do not forget subscribing to the channel. Share the video again with your friends and relatives, and I'd really appreciate. We are currently on the road to 50,000 subscribers, and I do believe that we can be able to achieve the milestone very soon if you all share our videos with your friends and family. Thank you so much. The goal of this channel has always been to tell black stories the black way, because anytime we give the white man an opportunity to tell our stories are usually distorted and whitewashed. Thank you so much, and see you all in our next episode. Goodbye for now.